Hello, let me introduce myself. I am Nicolas Palomares and I work at the Institute of Biomechanics of Valencia in Spain. Today I am here to talk to you about the new paradigm for coloring automated driving with human emotions, an approach to estimate the emotional state of the passenger in automated vehicles, which is part of the research included in the European project Horizon 2020 called SUaaVE. One of the main causes of lack of acceptance in innovation is ignoring the needs and preferences of potential customers, especially in the development phases. In the case of the connected automated vehicle, also known as SUaaVE, there is an important degree of user skepticism based on the awareness of the complexity and the risks of this technology. Furthermore, it is likely that automated vehicles will coexist with other road users, vulnerable road users and conventional vehicles, therefore the harmonization and acceptance by other road users should be a prime subject. Public acceptance is a multifaceted construct, tightly related to emotional processes and trust in a new technology, beyond the accomplishment of functional performance. However, the current approach based on the technology push threatens social viability of innovative technology like SUaaVE, as it creates a gap between the well-thought technical reliability and public acceptance. Under this premise, the SUaaVE project, supporting acceptance of automated vehicle, funded by the European Union, aims to make a change in the current situation of public acceptance of automated vehicles by increasing trustworthiness. SUaaVE focuses on the human side, working to improve more intangible aspects as safety perception, attitudes and, in general, emotional appraisal of passengers in automated vehicles. This will be done through three perspectives. Firstly, a social psychological research on the acceptability of automated vehicles. Secondly, a cross-cultural framework for ethical and legal issues to facilitate the deployment of automated vehicles. And finally, through Alfred, a concept to humanize the behavior of the automated vehicles. All these research and developments will be supported by the Immersive Virtual Human-Centered Design Platform, also known as VHCD Platform, a virtual simulator which allow to support immersive experiences to assess the acceptance through tests with subjects. SUaaVE project follows a human-driven approach, aiming to enhance synergies among social science, human factors research and automotive market by means of an iterative process of assessment, co-design and prototyping, involving the participation of more than 4,000 people. As I said, the main ambition of SUaaVE is the development of Alfred, defined as the fundamental architecture to understand the emotions of the passengers on board and to adapt the behavior of the automated vehicle to enhance the experience of the passengers, while increasing acceptance. In turn, Alfred is divided in two units. The first one, the Empathy Unit (EMY), which will be in charge of understanding the emotional and cognitive state of the passenger, while taking into account ethical principles. And the second unit, the Adaptive, Cognitive and Emotional (ACE) interface, understood as control strategies for the management of SUaaVE to enhance user experience. This includes 1. The communication with the passenger via HMI, a cognitive smart assistant, 2. Control the dynamics of the vehicle, as well as 3. The adjustment of ambient and postural comfort settings. The core of the empathic module is the emotional model developed by IBV, which is composed by firstly by a categorical model, aiming to estimate the emotional state of the passenger, tagged the emotion felt by the passenger, based on the analysis of contextual factors that influence the trip experience on board. For example, the weather conditions, traffic conditions, the information about the purposes of the trip, working, leisure trip, time of arrival, as well as passenger profile, personal characteristics could modify the emotion felt. And secondly by a dimensional model. The estimation of the emotional state of the passenger based on the changes in the physiology of the passenger, especially from the analysis of hear rate. From these physiological signals, this model is based on the estimation of the parameters arousal, the intensity level of the emotion, and valence if the emotion is considered positive or negative. Based on this two-dimensional approach, the effective state of the passenger can be estimated. In short, the data obtained with these two models, the categorical and the emotional model, will be combined in order to achieve a more robust map of the passenger state. At this stage of the project we have built a first version of the emotional model. This model has been preliminarily tested in some experiments. and we plan to conduct a test with subjects in a driving simulator in the following months. This slide shows the results of the first preliminary test. In this case, it shows the analysis of the physiological signal of a co-pilot in real driving conditions in an urban area following the emotional model developed. This signal was obtained through the wristband empatica. During the trip, the co-driver reported their levels of arousal and valence to compare their emotional state with the physiological signal and the events in the trip. This figure shows the variation of heart rate variability along the trip. The figure also shows the events of the trip. The general rule is when the heart rate variability decreases, there is an increase of the levels of arousal. With this consideration, as can be seen, it is possible to detect that the heart rate variability decreases or the arousal increases as there is an event. For example, when there is low visibility, when there is heavy rain, or there is a risk of collision with another car. However, in the case of the parameter valence, the results of the emotional model were not accurate, and this is why it is necessary to make more adjustments in the emotional model to estimate this parameter. This is another preliminary test conducted, in this case in a dynamic driving simulator at IDIADA. The simulator allows to simulate the complex driving scenarios with the movement of the body car. One driver participated in this test, in manual driving. As can be seen, in general, the arousal levels are higher for negative valence. This effect was expected because people are more reactive to negative stimulus in the virtual reality. The events of fog and risking overtaking were found as high arousal and negative valence. The event other car approaches was found moderate arousal and neutral valence. The event take a curve was found moderate arousal and positive valence. Therefore, the results of the estimation of arousal and valence are in line with the results expected in real conditions. The next stage of the project will consist in the development of tests with subjects in a driving simulator to obtain enough data to train the emotional model. 50 subjects will participate in a test, using an immersive driving simulator, specifically developed by ESI for this project, where different scenarios will be generated to analyze the reaction of the participants and to tag the emotions for each scenario. This is particularly important for the validation of the categorical model. The simulation environment will be the dynamic simulator of the Institute of Biomechanics of Valencia called ELSA, capable of generating movement in 3 axes and replicating vehicle dynamic. For each scenario, the subject will indicate their level of arousal and valence, and we will measure their physiological reactions through heart rate, electrodermal activity, electromyography and facial gestures. We plan to carry out these tests in September and October this year. Another European project in line with the research of SUaaVE is Diamond. The main aim of this project is to generate knowledge from data for more inclusive and efficient transport systems. One of the objectives of the project is to enhance the acceptance of women using and driving automated vehicles. In this project, IBV is in charge of the research to guarantee women's inclusion by the generation of guidelines for an empathic experience in automated cars. In Diamond, it is also planned to carry out tests in a driving simulator. In this case, 40 subjects will participate in the experiment in an immersive driving simulator using the open-source simulator Kala. They will be exposed to different driving scenarios and their physiological data will be also measured. These values will be later analyzed to obtain their emotional states and to find out if there are gender differences. In addition, they will fill in questionnaires to explore gender differences in acceptance in automated vehicles. In conclusion, let me sum up my main points. In SUaaVE we have developed an emotional model able to estimate the emotional state of the passenger in the framework of automated vehicles through the analysis of the physiological signals measured on board, especially the heart rate signal. This model has been preliminary tested in some initial experiments, in a driving simulator and in real driving conditions, obtaining good results. The estimation of the values of arousal and valence obtained from the dimensional model are in line with the subjective feelings reported by the participants in these tests. We are going to carry out a test with subjects in a driving simulator with the aim training the dimensional model to reach a reliable estimation of the state for the passenger. Finally, in Diamond Project we are going to analyze gender differences in acceptance in automated vehicles. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. These are the partners of both projects. And if you want more information, please feel free to visit the website of the projects and follow us on Twitter. Thank you for your attention.